Spend more, get less, coming to all stores and services near you. Dubbed shrinkflation or shrinketing when it comes to physical products, and shirking and shifting when it comes to services. Let's scrape the surface with 15 things that are simultaneously getting worse and more expensive. Number 1. Chips, candy, and chocolate. A-Luxers, you'll be fed the story that retailers are doing you a favor by reducing the size of all of our favorite munchies, but as we both know, that's not the way it works. So instead of eating half a slab of chocolate, we now finish the whole damn thing and buy a new slab sooner than usual. Crisp packets are filled with more air than necessary, and the grammage of candy has steadily decreased, and we're powerless because we need our candy. Concrete examples are Nestlé's After Eight Mint chocolate thingies. They went from 200 grams to 170 grams and no reduction in the price. Cadbury's Crunchies used to be sold in packets of 4, now it's 3. Toblerone bars went from 200 grams to 170 grams, and we're not even sure we want to open the can of worms that is Quality Street. Definitely not the same quality anymore, and they're very tight when it comes to sufficient green triangles, aren't they? Number 2. Going to the movies. Morgan Cutolo wrote an article for Reader's Digest titled "The Real Reason Movie Tickets Have Gotten So Expensive." There he states the average price of a movie ticket is $9. Some areas are lower at around $8, while others can reach as high as $16 a ticket. Is this bank-draining experience justifiable for the huge price tag? Many believe not. It's tough on cinemas to make a profit with so many streaming services available, but let's be real, they were expensive prior to things like Hulu and Netflix. And A-Luxers, we would love to have you join us for our daily videos. We have topics for every genre, so remember to subscribe to alux.com. Number 3. Tuition. A Reddit thread went viral when a similar question was put forward, and several Redditors cited tuition as getting progressively worse and more expensive. We've covered this topic many times, and in our video, 15 Ways to Get Educated Faster and Cheaper, we provide a wealth of information on how to avoid having to spend a shit ton of money on getting educated. Like one contributor put it, college tuition. When I hear college used to be paid for with a summer job, my eyes get watery. I'm a college student. And Forbes.com cements this thought by adding that over the last 20 years, tuition inflation has risen at a faster rate than the cost of medical services, childcare, and housing. We still believe that getting a college degree is our ticket to the future, but it's not. So be sure to watch the video we just mentioned and maybe save yourself a ton of green. Number 4. Clothing. A-Luxers, don't you find that clothing just doesn't stand the test of time anymore? And by time, we're not talking years and years, we're talking mere months. The clothing fades, runs, stretches, and the stitching falls apart. Cost cutting is so problematic that the quality has decreased dramatically. The New York Times published an article exploring why, and along with a panel of experts, deduced the following: a lack of inspection at every stage of production, the dwindling supply of skilled labor, a lack of pride on all sides of the industry, the built-in obsolescence of women's styles, done deliberately to encourage business and concurred by the majority of women. Despite the terrible quality of clothing available, the prices continue to climb, and we continue to pay. Number 5. Photo booths. Say cheese! Now give us all your money. The photo booth has been around since 1925 when it was patented as the Photomaton by Anatole Josepho. It could develop 8 photos within 8 minutes. Like a lot of technology, when it's initially released, the price is pretty high. Over time, prices reduce, except it seems for photo booths. A few Redditors highlighted their disappointment at the Click and Smile facility, where you used to pay $1 for 4 different images, but now it's $7 for 4 poor quality identical prints. And A-Luxers, have you ever tried to book a photo booth for a wedding? Some companies like to increase the prices of their services when they hear that money word, wedding. Be sure you don't fall into that trap and watch our video, 15 Reasons Why a Luxury Wedding Isn't Worth the Money. Number 6. Health insurance. Aluxers, this is a question we've asked more than once. Why the hell is health insurance so freaking expensive? And when you need it most, doesn't exactly pull through for you as it was supposed to. And we all have our own horror stories to share about our experiences with health insurance companies. And suffice it to say, some are literally missing limbs from the experience. Investopedia cited several reasons behind this expense. Administrative waste. Providers must hire administrative help at a huge cost. U.S. citizens pay up to 4 times more for pharmaceutical drugs compared to other countries. Doctors, nurses, and hospitals charge more and pay higher insurance premiums. And in the U.S., prices for drugs are largely controlled by market forces. A scary price comparison brought forward was the average cost of a hospital birth in the U.S. compared to the Netherlands, $11,170 compared to roughly $4,500. Number 7. Bathroom and kitchen products. When it comes to shrinkflation, our bathrooms are teeming with examples. Dial Soap changed the shape of their soaps with a concave curve at the bottom, so now it's smaller, yet the price is the same or more depending on where you get yours. The size of a block of toilet paper is smaller. Even money.usanews.com calls it shrink it and pink it when it comes to the smaller quantity and higher cost of feminine products. It's often a gradual change that consumers aren't aware of, and we're shell-shocked when it's pointed out to us. Number 8. Housing. Aluxers, buying a house is near impossible these days. Even on 2 salaries and parentals offering a helping hand, it's a push. Houses are being vomited out quickly, cheaply, and poorly. It seems like no one gives a shit about the longevity of them. As long as builders and contractors make their money, it's all good. But then buyers are stuck with the problems that conveniently crop up later when there's no room for recourse. In some areas, houses are so bad the banks refuse to finance them. Now, we understand that there are a plethora of reasons why housing is expensive and unattainable for so many, but for the purposes of this video, we're just highlighting the poor quality of them. Number 9. Takeout. Stealthy downsizing is happening to your favorite takeout food. One McDonald's fan pointed out that the patties on the Big Mac will soon just be a thin slice of roast beef. He wasn't wrong because globaltimes.cn reported that over 50% of Chinese consumers think that the food, particularly hamburgers sold by American fast food restaurant chains like McDonald's and KFC, have become less in volume based on a survey conducted by the Southern Metropolis Daily. A similar situation arose in the UK when customers pointed out the teeny size of cheeseburgers, the size likened to a thumb. McDonald's in Birmingham responded with the following: "The overall weight of our burgers remains unchanged. The new bun is the same weight with slightly different proportions. Aluxers, are we just getting bigger?" Number 10. Disney theme parks. If it's got a Disney logo, be prepared to shell out some cash. Disney theme parks are notorious for raising their prices. Wall Street Journal says that Disney's increase is roughly double inflation. In California, on a high-demand day, expect to pay over $200 for a ticket. And while it's possible to budget for a day or two there, we then have to consider meals, gas, and accommodation. And there are also many unexpected expenses. Parking, tipping, and the souvenirs you swore you were not going to buy, they're all added expenses. Doesn't sound like the most magical place on earth anymore, now does it? Number 11. Childcare and schooling. If you're a parent, you know how expensive it is to raise a kid, and those costs just keep rising, especially when it comes to childcare and schooling. Often, childcare is so unaffordable that one parent stays home to look after a child because the salary earned doesn't justify the amount spent on childcare costs. And ironically, despite being so expensive, childcare providers are not exactly rolling in money. In fact, they're some of the lowest paid positions out there. It's a labor-intensive industry, and you need a lot of hands to ensure each child is looked after. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this later. Number 12. Yankee Candles. Remember the days when owning one of those candles signified so much? You're an adult, financially stable, and in control of your emotions. Or was that just me? Anyway, we digress. Yankee Candles have lost some steam. Once considered a premium candle, now has articles written titled, "Why Yankee Candles Suck." On CandleReview.com, one dissatisfied user said, "I can only speculate, but it feels like today Yankee Candle spends more time designing their labels for the candles than actually doing quality assurance testing on their products." And she's not the first. People are complaining about the exorbitant price and the inferior smell attached to it. If they don't improve the quality soon, the business could go up in smoke. Number 13. Ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. And Aluxers, you'll be screaming when you hear how ice cream manufacturers have constantly been decreasing the portion sizes and increasing the price. BBC.com reports that ice cream containers in the US were originally sold in half-gallon or 64-ounce tubs, but have steadily decreased to 56 ounces and now 48 ounces. Häagen-Dazs shrunk the size of their family-size tubs by 8%, and we can assure you the price did not drop by 8% to match. Like the late American economist Milton Friedman once said, inflation is taxation without legislation. Number 14. Cable television. So why does cable television cost an arm and a leg? And it seems with every passing month we're getting less and less, or should we rather say more and more adverts, that is. Xfinity from Comcast has roughly 112 million subscribers. For the fiscal year of 2017, Wiki says that Comcast reported earnings of $22.7 billion, with revenues of $84.5 billion. We understand there are insane costs involved in terms of infrastructure, cost of content, and so on, but does it justify the huge premiums consumers are paying? Most consumers say no with their lips, but yes with their monthly debit order. Number 15. Municipal services. Hey Luxers, it's not only tangible items that are getting worse yet costing more, we can suggest several industries that fall under the same umbrella. Municipalities will also make subtle changes that will line pockets over time, and many consumers don't even realize it. A few cents is neither here nor there, but if every person pays a few cents more, then it is definitely here and there. Other changes, like lowering the amount of trash you're allowed to leave out each week or being charged more for switching to solar because you're no longer buying electricity from the municipality, leaving a deficit in their budget. As the late American cartoonist Ken Hubbard once said, "Nothing is as irritating as the fellow who chats pleasantly while he overcharges you." Hey Luxers, where else have you experienced shrinkflation? We'd love to hear from you in the comments. And of course, you stuck with us until the end. Here's your tasty bonus. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups had to have an entire point to themselves. They've gotten smaller, almost chalkier in texture, and don't even have the same flavor. The classic 2-pack is a 0.75-ounce cup, but it used to be 9 ounces a cup. In 1991, they reduced the size to 8 ounces, and then another reduction in 2001. We can't say for certain they'll ever be the way they were, with some describing this tragedy as downright devastating. Maybe a good idea to stock up now before they downsize again to 6.5 ounces. Excuse us while we nip out to get our own stash of peanut butter cups. Not sorry. Thanks for watching, Aluxers. We're so glad you did. We always appreciate your likes and subscriptions. Until next time.